Hi everyone, welcome to Type Talks. Today we're here to look at a type clarification session with Luna. This is where I guide a client through the type discovery process with helping them find their best fit type. And so a few things before we watch. The first is that the ethical use of type involves type being a self-discovery process. And so remember as you're watching this is to not typecast people. You should allow people to engage in the self-discovery process of figuring out their type. So I always have a two-way dialogue with clients where we go back and forth about what type suits them best. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. And so Luna, I'm curious if you can let us know an overview of who you are, if you can just give us a little bit about you as a human.
Yes. Okay. I tend to blank when I'm asked that question because I'm like, oh no, I don't know anything about myself anymore. I'll give you like the stats. Like I'm 31. I'm a human being.
I thought you were an alien. There's
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought I was as well. It turns out I'm not, which is really annoying. Um, I'm 31. I already said that thing. I'm like a team leader in audits, which I always think is just doesn't make any sense if you meet me, because most people are like, you should be a creator. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm here. Um, that's all I remember about myself. I'm so sorry.
what got you into the team leading audits?
I was scouted, so I literally fell into it. Is it like no, not Alice in Wonderland, the other one with the tornado and the red sparkly shoes? Sometimes I feel like that, where I'm like, I need to go home. Like, Toto, we are not in Kansas anymore. In the sense that,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dorothy was the voice.
Yeah, I got scouted to be in it because I worked with my boss before, and she was like, you would be really good at this. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I'm doing it, and I'm like, I'm here. Yeah.
Sometimes we're teleported into a world and we don't know what to do with it, for sure.
Very that.
Yeah, you are very creative. Like, I love your outfit. I already told you that 14 times. And so I'm curious, Luna, what do you love to do so much? And I mean, you love to do this so much. You could do this indefinitely until you're exhausted because it gives you energy.
Oh, I spend time in my brain, just like figuring out the why of everything. Yeah, that's like the thing I always do. Because like I will lie to you and I'll be like, yeah, I love making art. Do I actually make art? No, but I will spend all of my time just like in my brain, just like being like, oh, ideas and things that I can think of. And yeah, that I do until I'm exhausted. And I do this weird thing where I like pace whilst I'm doing it. And then I'll be on my phone just like researching little things that come up into my brain. And I'll do that for like hours on end if you let me. Like I won't leave the house doing that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Same, I do that.
I'm not the only weirdo.
Oh, interesting. Learned something new today. So I'm curious about, Luna, what are some words you would use to describe yourself to other people that you really resonate with?
Oh my God. I think it's easier for me to default to like words that have been used about me because I kind of struggle. I think I struggle to like identify with words because I'm like, it's a big thing. Like it has to be true and it has to make sense. And that's like a lot. But then sometimes I think it's like a little bit easier for me to like, yeah, those are words that have other people have used to describe me before. So I tend to default to like the usual cohort, which is just like a bit quirky, I suppose, and bubbly. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. What are some words that are the opposite of who you are that do not sound like you throughout the course of your life?
Oh. Oh my God. I don't know how to answer that question. Oh no, I've blanked.
Oh, and did you say that the words you use to describe yourself are quirky and bubbly for the last question?
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. I guess are so many ideas coming to you at once that you have a hard time picking one?
Yeah, I do this thing where it's like, it's hard for me to just like say what something is or what something isn't because I can think of all the ways in which it is and which it isn't at the same time. So then I'm like, I don't know. There's just like so many things in my brain that I don't know. But then at the same time, there's nothing in my brain. Bizarre. Yeah. I suppose I'm like not super disciplined in that like I can get a lot done, but I do it in a very chaotic way. Yeah, where I'm like all cylinders firing at the same time.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And so I am curious, would you like to know any Enneagram insights? Do you know the Enneagram? Would that be interesting to you at
Yeah,
all?
yeah, I would be super interested. I know a little bit, not a terrible amount to be honest. I went down the rabbit hole of like typology ages ago and then Enneagram a little bit, and then I kind of just like step in and out of things, I suppose.
Mm. It's because I think your Myers-Briggs type is so obvious. I thought maybe giving like another
Oh
piece of
no, which
information.
is so bad because it's like for me, I'm like, oh, I could be any of them. I literally have thought that I'm every single one at like at least one point over the last few years. It's so bad.
Mm. And so I'm curious about what are some words other people would use to describe you?
Ooh, I tend to be like pretty energetic and also just like a bit, um, like I'm there, but I'm not there in the sense that like I usually I don't know. I sometimes come out with things and people are like, "What the fuck is she talking about? Like, what is that? Like, what is coming out of your brain?" And to me, I'm just like, "That's not normal. That's not a okay. That's not a normal thing. Okay." So I tend to like I not like weird people out because I think that I tend to like I hope, and usually they're just like, "Oh, she's a bit quirky. That's fine. That's just who she is." Um, I forgot the question. Sorry.
It's perfect. Everything's helpful. What's your relationship with your own emotions?
Oh, I try to delete them. Um, I lament that I have emotions in the first place, and then it's I don't know, it's like they like take over me, and I get really annoyed that they do because I'm like, no, 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 we can't do that. We have to be like a person that doesn't have a million emotions. So I will try my best like not to feel them and instead just like think about them. I don't know, I spend a lot of time sorting through them and being like, okay, what does it mean? I'm like, you're angry, but why? What does it mean?
Hmm. I think I just came across a Facebook post that you might like. I know I was thinking about showing you. It's basically saying like, why do you always have to figure out what things mean? And then the next comment is, but what does that mean?
But what does it mean? Yeah, it's like, my brain immediately is like, what does it mean though? What are you trying to say?
I love it. What is your experience of other people's emotions?
Um, that can be really tricky because like I do this thing where at the same time I really want to give them room to just like be themselves, and I really always like love being that safe person for people to come to. Like one of my favorite things is when people just like feel safe enough to just tell me their life story, which tends to happen quite a lot, and I love that. It's one of my favorite things about me. Um, but at the same time, if there's like a lot of emotion, I'm just like I don't. I'm like, please contain it, please leave me alone. That can be very tricky for me, particularly if like there are emotions coming at me. I tend to just like freeze and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And so I'm curious, are you a bossy person? Do
Uh,
other people perceive you to be bossy?
I try not to be, but I think that I fluctuate violently between like being really bossy and just being like, can you just get shit done? Like, don't talk to me, just do the thing, just like do your job. But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to tell anyone what to do. And I'm like, oh, I can't, like, I don't have the right. And it's so bizarre because I'm a team leader. So it's literally my job to tell people what to do. But I'm just like, I can't tell people what to do. That's awful. But then at the same time, I'm like, can you just do the thing? I think it's like I feel forced into having to tell people what to do. And then I don't know how to manage that in a way that isn't like, mean. And so then I just like flip between like being really nice, then all of a sudden I'm just like,
Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. And
Yeah.
so I am curious about how you were like as a kid.
Oh my God. My family described me as like a, a pinball machine where you just like launch the little pinball and then it's bing, 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 bing. Or bouncy ball was the other one I've gotten. I was just like all energy, 1,000 questions. People used to tell me like, please, Luna, like 5 minutes of shut up. And then like after a minute, I'd be like, is it done? Can I talk now? Can I ask more questions now? But then when it came to like going to school, I was like pretty like shy and did my own thing. And I was just like not really there a lot of the time. And that like I was that kid that was just like staring out the window doing their own thing. Yeah.
And so how often do you initiate interaction with others?
Hard question because like I think that there's like the me that is like innate, and then there's the me that's like scared of people just through experience. Because it's
Mm.
like if it were just me, I'm happy to just like talk to people and I want to talk to people and I like really like having conversations and I like need that ping back because I'm just curious and I just like want to learn about the world and them. Um, but I think it's like that part of me that's very afraid just through like experience. So I tend to like there's just like an apprehension where I'm like, like, will this be safe? I don't know. Are they going to judge me? And so that's what kind of tends to stop me, I suppose, a lot of the time. I
Yeah,
overthink it.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so without that fear or shyness around people, like you are quite wanting to engage. Where does that shyness or fear come from?
Um, Mostly just like most of my life I've been sort of told that I'm like too much or that people don't understand what I'm saying, so they're just like I don't know what to do with you. Like I just don't like too much is the thing I often get. And so like that I think plays in my head a lot where I'm like, do people understand what I'm saying? Am I weeding them out? Like am I making them feel uncomfortable? Because I can sometimes forget like in my pursuit of just like knowing and just like playing with things, I can sometimes forget that people are people, if that makes sense. That sounds really weird. And so like I'll forget that and then there's like that reminder and then it just like steamrolls me because I'm like, oh my God, like you would actually really like not appropriate just then, or like you asked a weird, like you're weirding people out, and so that will tend to set me off a bit. I
Mm,
don't know if I answered your question just then.
you totally did. And so I am curious, Luna. What's your relationship with brainstorming?
Um, I mean, I go down like rabbit holes a lot. Like if I let myself, I really like doing it, which I sort of see as like brainstorming, where I'm just like, oh yeah, this thing turns to that thing, turns to this thing, turns to that thing. And I love doing that. But a lot, like throughout my life, I've like been kind of discouraged from doing that a lot. And so I try not to. But then like lately in the last few years, I've tried really hard to just not stop myself from doing things because it's something that I felt like I'm not allowed to do. So now I'm just like, do the thing. Do the thing. The answer is yes, me like.
Makes sense, makes sense. Mhm. When it comes to all of your ideas, how easy is it for you to act on some of them? Like, do you tend to have many ideas, you act on some of them and you don't act on some of them? Or do you like just think of ideas and never really do them? Like, which one sounds more like
I will like feverishly write them down or like feverishly put them on paper. And it'll be like this like chaotic mess where I'm just like, and I like have to get it out and like it comes out of me just like at a rapid pace. But I don't really tend to get over that like, and I'll like not even finish documenting it. I won't even finish getting the idea on there. And I'm like, well, now I'm bored, or I'll get like stuck at the like building bit of it. And then I'm just like, well, bin, it's in the bin now. And then sometimes we'll come back to it when I'm just like, oh, I remember that idea and I'm really interested in it again. So I'm going to do it again. But then I'll get stuck again or I'll get bored. I'll feel like there's like a time limit of like there's like a time limit on how much I can work on things, and then at that point I'll just like there's a big chance it'll go in the bin and I'll work on something else instead.
Do you tend to take some action though, even if you don't fully finish something? Like, do you? Yeah.
I want to get things done and I try really hard. And like if I've got someone pushing me and like keeping me accountable, I can get a lot done. And I tend to like be the person at work that gets like heaps done more than like most people. But I have to like hack my way through it. Or I will just like have just a bunch of half finished things. And like when it gets to, I think it's because like the closer I get to the end point and the more complex or the more like lots of things I have to manage towards the very end of it, particularly or the middle, like I will want to throw the entire thing out the window and just be like, no, I'm done. Like I just someone else, please. I can't do this anymore. Yeah.
We could run by you the type that we're seeing and then see what your thoughts are and where your doubts or hesitations are. Do you know the cognitive functions before we share?
Yeah, I have done that thing where I just like consumed all of your channel, all of everyone's channel, Dario Nardi's stuff as well. Like if it's on the internet and exists, I've probably at least half read it.
Yeah, so you said you considered every type. So what type do you think is most likely?
I think I probably have any. That was my thoughts, but I do this thing where I'm like, yeah, no, definitely, and then I'm like, no, but it could be something else, and then I'm like, and then it could be, and then it just devolves into just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not something else. It is definitely any.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad I got at least that right because I was like, surely.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'll
So
let Jonathan go.
so first of all, the only people who write as much as you do in our experience in those surveys are ENFPs and INFPs. They're the ones that write the most. And it seems very likely that you're an ENFP.
Okay.
Like you're good at getting things done, or at least starting stuff. Maybe you have trouble finishing things because they're complex. And you mentioned in your survey that you are not as good with like being completely logical, but you're still very productive, and you can be bossy when you don't like it. That's all the TE. That's your tertiary TE coming out, and you're too in touch with your emotions and too overly emotional to be an ENTP. ENFPs can they can ignore their emotions. They can push through their emotions to get things done, and they're more aware of other people's emotions than INFPs, and more considerate of it. But they are still very in touch with their emotions. You're also, in terms of the Enneagram, you're almost certainly a Type 6 because the Type 6 will do the overthinking of things and the questioning and the sort of everything you were saying about how you could be this, but then you might be that, and so on. And you're always doing all that. Type 6s are a type that often struggle to identify what their core type is, either in the Enneagram or MBTI, or sometimes both. So, especially if they have 6 and 9, Enneagram 9 in there as well, which you might have in your tri type if you know that.
They're just numbers to me at the moment, but I will research.
Yeah, so six wing sevens are relatively. If you read the descriptions of the Enneagram, they sometimes sound a bit SJ, but that's just flawed descriptions. 6 wing seven is actually a very common Enneagram type for ENFP. Both of them overthink in different ways. So the ENFP overthinks because they're doing all the IDing of NE and exploring all their ideas and stuff, but the questioning of everything and being unsure and convincing yourself of something and then questioning it, that's all the Type 6. Type 6s are the overthinkers of the Enneagram, and they're called the questioner, called devil's advocate. They can see different sides of an argument. Sometimes they seem much more certain than they are. To other people, they might seem very certain, but to themselves, they're more like just overcompensating for uncertainty. And it seems like your difficulties in typing yourself and some of your issues are to do with how you're fitting in with your family and your work colleagues and things like that. It just seems like you're perhaps you have your personality and they have their personalities, and there's some clash there. Well, there's been clashes there throughout your life, and that's why you've sort of you feel like you refresh yourself and maybe don't know yourself quite as well as you do, because we do think your type is really obvious.
Okay. Well, I'm glad.
So yeah, that's our thoughts. It just also just keep in mind although I'm saying you're a type 6 ENFP, there are different kinds of type 6s as well. If you've ever heard of tri-type and instincts, those are to be considered as well. So you might meet another type 6 ENFP who's quite different from you, more aggressive. So I think I would consider something like 629 for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you met like a 684 ENFP, they would be very different, much more aggressive, but still overall type 6 wing 7 ENFP, I think is a very solid answer.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I have a video about ENFPs feeling too much. So then they purposefully tone themselves down, but it's not nice to them in that like it hurts their authenticity a lot. Like that creates self perception issues if you always have to change yourself to fit into your environment. Like it's not okay to be you is the message you get from people around you. And so ENFPs will feel more introverted after not being able to be themselves around people. Because NE intuitives in general are not that common in the population. And so the way that you talk, like people can't follow it. They don't know what you're saying because NE is very non-linear. So most of the population is sequential thinkers. And so you're always going to feel a little bit like an odd duck because you tend to make connections between interesting ideas, whereas most people don't tend to think like that. They tend to think more fact to fact to fact to fact. And so you guys are speaking different languages a lot of the times. And so it seems like your creative, introverted feeling is actually known for its creative capacity. A lot of artists, a lot of singers are FI users. Now, you don't identify as an artist. Like you don't have any actual art, but the way that you dress, like it's so artistic. Like I've never seen anyone dress like that before ever. It is very original. And so I find that like ENFPs are able to come up with a way of dressing or a way of being that is unique to them because it's authentic to you. It's like what you're feeling. Oftentimes, extroverted intuition can look like TI in that it's very particular with language. So it's like, oh, it's kind of like this, but not really like that. It's kind of like this. But its NE is looking for precise conceptual language around concepts in general. So it could create confusion. Am I a TI user? Because I can be particular with my word usage a lot. Yeah. And I'm curious, like perhaps me and Jonathan, we can help you with learning more about the type or addressing some objections or hesitations you have against the type. Because if it took you a while to land on your type, you probably have a lot of counter arguments. So perhaps we can help work through those together if you'd like.
I think it was like when I went into it, I was like, surely it's that one, because I was like, I could see it and I knew it. But I think it's like you said, Jonathan. I think you said earlier that it's kind of feeling that I'm quite incompatible with like the world around me and like family units and stuff like that, which is like made me be like, well, I'm not allowed to be that, so I'll force myself to be something else. And then I have moments of being like, no, I get to be me and I want to be me and I need to be me. And I'll have that. And then obviously like the feedback will be, oh God, too much. And so then I'll rein it back in and I'll be like, okay, well then I have to be somebody else. And I do this thing where I like, I can very easily like try to make myself into other things and be like, oh, you like this? I'll be this. Sure. I'll do that, but I can't sustain it for long, especially like day to day. Obviously, like when you're doing work and stuff like that, like you can't be like you can't have another brain, which like it'd be cool if you could. So I don't really have any objections because I kind of saw it and I was like, yeah, I think it's that, but I would do this thing where I would like stop there and then I would flip and would flop and go everywhere. Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
like the 2 in your tri-type, but also your 6 function extroverted feeling. So ENFPs with FE6 or being NFs in general, you're going to be prone to people pleasing or chameleoning. So it's like, oh, people want this of me, I'll be this to get loved or belong. And then later it just doesn't work. So
It's especially true with your what we think is your Enneagram tri-type. The 6 to 9 would be quite prone to people pleasing and molding themselves more than others, and to overthinking things and making counter arguments in themselves. You mentioned earlier that you had this thing where you were trying to like you had this conflict around being your authentic self and wanting to give other people space to be their authentic self. And that's all very ENFP. Like the FPs in general, they really value authenticity and being true to themselves. It's all part of what it means to be FI in the first place. And the ENFP and to an extent the ESFP, they're a bit better at managing other people's feelings compared to the IFPs, and they're a bit more capable of being a chameleon, but they still have a strong conflict around it. And to even think in terms of giving people space to be true to themselves is very FP in and of itself. It's very rare for other types to even think like that so much.
There's even, to add on what Jonathan said, when I was asking you words to describe yourself, you're like, I need it to be true to me and I'll like truly authentic, or else I don't want to say the word because it's not true enough. And I'm like, that's the most FI answer to that ever.
Yeah. FPs in our experience, they're either really, really good at giving words, like they'll give so many words because they can think of it, or they're really bad at it, but only because they want to be as accurate as possible, and there's so many words they have to choose from. So like some other types, like some ENTPs and stuff, they would have trouble because they're so out of touch with their feelings that they don't even know themselves that well to give words at all. Whereas FPs, they have the words, they just don't know which ones to choose from.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between an FP and a TP, as an example.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, but you're so clearly a feeling type, and you're so clearly a NEFI type.
Just kind of hits you in the face. That's how I feel like I am with people in general, where I start talking and I'm like, oh no, I'm like vomiting just things at them, just stuff at them. And I'm like, I hope they can take it and they don't just like, become eroded by the acid because it's vomit.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's the NE. It's the NE, but it's also the FI and the TE as well. All those together can be like that, because the NE obviously has all the ideas and they need to get them out in order to understand what they even are. The FI wants to express their feelings in their authentic way when they feel like it, at least, and the TE just wants to bark orders and get things done and make things happen.
And the SI I just pretend doesn't exist. I'm like, that's a thing? Can it not be a thing? Can we just delete it? Thank you.
Yeah, and when I set up like large ENFP panels, they'll go through this thing where
Just chaos.
like tech issues all the time.
Oh my god, yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna log on early and I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna do it. And then somehow it just always, I'm like, how? Is the problem me? It's me. Oh no.
Well, in this case it helped us. It just made your type even more obvious.
You're like, oh god, another bloody ENFP.
If you ever want to be on a Type Talks panel, I'd love to have you on. I feel like you're a wonderful example of an ENFP.
No. I would love to be on one, but I have to figure out the tech things beforehand, so I'm not really late.
It's okay. The other ENFPs will struggle too, so we'll all start 30 minutes past the start
Yeah, you've
time.
just got to schedule for like half an hour after the actual time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, ENFPs tend to book when they feel like it. So I think you book the session like maybe a day or two in advance. And that's also like the P in the code.
Yeah, I will like try to have a plan. I'll be like, I need a plan because I freak out and I'm like, has to be a plan. Like normal people have plans, so you've got to have a plan. And then I'll give myself a plan, and then that just gives me time to quit beforehand. So I tend to just like do everything with just like oh, I've got to do it and I've got to do it yesterday. Like I've just got to. It has to be done.
Yeah, I admire the get it done attitude.
It's the only way I exist. Otherwise, I think I would actually just like turn into like goop.
Mm. I feel like ENFPs, like they have this switch where they are like, let's get things done mode. And then they relax. They're like, yeah, we're done that like sprint.
Yeah, I describe the way that if you were to watch me to work, it would be like watching like an octopus like cooking, in that you're just like there's a lot of things happening. Also, what the fuck is happening? And you're just like what? Like that's me.
Mm.
Yeah. But not like a big octopus, like a little one. That's just like doing aerodynamic. Yeah.
I love the octopus imagery. I feel like NE is also like an octopus in that the ideas are touching everything too.
Yeah.
In a way like get more surface area with the ideas.
Yeah, yeah. I think I see it like, yeah, I see my brain as like just like everything's connected. Just you would look at it and be like, that shouldn't be. And then I'm like, no, but I'll find a way to connect it. I'm like,
Mhm.
it makes sense to me. Might not make sense to like many other people.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think that like it's wonderful because it creates an ability to look at things across different disciplines and then be able to like see the deeper meaning of everything. It's a fertile soil for a lot of amazing possibilities. Like possibilities are what makes the world improve. So, yeah.
Yeah.
ENFPs may not always enjoy the logistics of getting the thing done. So, like, it's like, oh, I have these ideas. If someone else could do the logistics, I could hand this off to someone else to do. That'd be great.
Yes, I always think like with the amount of ideas that I can produce, if someone else could do them for me, I would be very rich. The problem is that I have to do things and I to struggle. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. To actually like I have a habit of like overcomplicating things or just like not giving enough information. Like in a work environment, I see it all the time where I will either give them like way too much information, or I would give them nothing, or people be like, "What do you want me to do?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I told you what to do." And they're like, "No, you didn't." I'm like, I thought I did." Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I thought I did. Sometimes people want the instructions, like the detailed step by step, whereas like
Yeah.
you want to give the big picture or the idea of it and then let them figure out how they want to do the details.
Yeah. And I think like giving the details really stresses me out because like it's not a fun time for me. So then I will do this thing where like I get really annoyed that I have to give the details. And so then I'm just like, can you just do the thing? Can you just figure it out? And I'm like, just figure it out. Thank you. I'm like, if I have to figure it out, you have to figure it out. And then I can get frustrated very quickly, and I have to just like temper myself and be like, don't be annoying, don't yell at people. People need instructions.
So that's where the extroverted thinking impatience comes in. The TE is like, I want to get it done so I can relax and be my cheerful, bubbly, quirky self. But if this to-do list item is still there, I have to keep thinking about it until it's done. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but still floating in my brain. Yeah. And I would do this thing where the more you put, because like again, I don't know why I'm in audits, and I have to do a lot of very boring things that I really don't like doing. And I start just to like it's like you can like a chaos meter that just like if I was like a little cartoon character and it was like next to me, it just like frenetically starts like getting higher and higher the more I'm just like forced to do the one thing, which is like close audits. And then I will just kind of explode after a bit, and then I'm like, and it's like me, but times like 10, which like me on a good day is already a lot for people. So it's like me times 10 is, it's like you give like Pikachu like a bunch of sugar, and then it's just like too much.
Interesting. Oh, Jonathan, you seem like
Oh,
you want
I just thought that's exactly what an ENFP is. It's Pikachu with sugar.
It's Pikachu with sugar?
Yeah, that's exactly what any.
More annoying, Pichu. It's like Pichu, but just too much sugar.
Yeah.
Like put Pichu to bed. Pichu needs sleep.
That's so cute.
Well, well, just so you know, there are people out there who are like you, who are just as annoying as you, and hopefully one day you'll meet them and realize that you could be annoying ENFPs together.
I think that would be too much power. I often think I think it would be too powerful. Like two NFPs meeting.
Mm.
I don't think the world could take it. Like I think we would explode.
Well, Joyce is the one that keeps making ENFP panels, so the world
I think you
has.
guys wouldn't be able to sleep because you guys would just have a really invigorating conversation, and you're like lying awake in bed, and you're like, my brain is so jazzed after this conversation, I can't sleep. Oh no.
Yeah, well, you don't need sleep. Like this is something that I have tested. No one needs sleep. That's a lie. We would just stay awake forever, and you can just drink a lot of coffee. Is what I've realized, which is really good for you. Trust
Luna
me.
is actually an alien. At the beginning, I thought it was really suspicious that you're calling yourself human quite a few times, and I'm like, I finally figured it out. You're a Pichu.
I often say to people, I'm like, the questions that I ask sometimes make it sound like it's my first day as a human being, where I'm like, whoa, do you like do this and do you do that? And they're like, why are you asking that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just want to know the answer. I want to know why.
Yeah, that's any. Just asking questions just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And also what's any too is you bottleneck as well. So ENFPs, they have so many ideas that it gets stuck and you're like, which idea should I choose? And then nothing comes out.
Yeah, very that. I get really stuck because I'm like, there's too many. Someone else pick. But then if someone else picks, I'll get angry about it. Because I'm like, but I didn't want that one. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I feel like with FI it has to resonate, or else it's like, the aliveness is not here. So yeah, no.
Yeah, but mine change. Like I experience like my inner like world is like just very changeable. So it's like it could change and it'll change fast. And then it's like very difficult for me to like regain the passion and regain like wanting to do the thing because I'm like, no, it's gone. I don't. And then people are like, didn't you love that thing? And I'm like, yeah, last week. And I changed my mind this week.
Yeah, that's all EP tapes are like that.
Yeah. Is there a cure for that?
If scientists are still working on it.
You can get the INTPs and the INTJs, please help. You could just like make a little pill we could take, fix that. Thank you.
I feel like being an EP is you're eternally a curious explorer. Some EPs I know they put it as Peter Pan syndrome or eternally Peter Pan. It's like I'm forever young. I am always youthful.
Yeah, very that. I think people also like gauge your age wrong because they're like, you seem like a child, but at the same time, you don't look like a kid. And I'm like, yeah, mentally, I suppose. But then also like an old man at the same time. Makes no sense.
Yeah, within every ENFP, there's both a child and a wise old sage at the same time. So I think ENFPs have the bubbliness or the ability to think different perspectives all the time that people associate like the neuroplasticity of that with kids. But then they also at the same time, they're incredibly wise. And so it's like, wow. And I think people get surprised when they see different sides of an ENFP. Like in one setting, you might be super bubbly. In another one, you might be the wise old sage or serious. And they're like, how do these two personalities exist in this one person? I do not understand.
Yeah, I have a habit of doing this thing where like you'll be like, God, she's an idiot. She's an actual idiot with the things that I ask. But then at the same time, like I'll like write something and I'll like put a lot of like, okay, I'm gonna just like put myself into this. And they'll be like, where did that come from? And I'm like, yeah, that's also in me. That's yeah.
I think that's lovely about ENFPs. Kind of like Jennifer Lawrence, she'll crack a joke when she's acting and be all bubbly and happy, and then she'll get into a serious role for like the Hunger Games, like look like she's going to kill someone, and then people are like, "How do you do that?" It's just within seconds.
Like it's just like a switch. You turn it on and off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess like that's what it is to be in tune with your emotions. You can do that. Not everyone can do that.
No, it's wild to me. I always like say, I'm like, you can just like turn that off though. Like when people have emotions, I'm like, you can turn it off. And then people are like, no, you can't. And I'm like, you can't turn. Okay, it's just me then. All right.
Yeah. That's why the FI is a tool function for you. It's a tool you turn on and off. Whereas like if you're an INFP, it would be the water that you swim in.
Yeah.
Right. Because that main one is like, one thing I found, I think, very difficult because I was like, I think I'm any. But then I was like, it's like I can see it, but I can't see it because it's like it is. Does that make sense? Where I'm just like looking through it. So it's like I can sort of see like the edges of it and I see that I'm doing it, but at the same time I like can't see it. But I was like, I see FI. Like I was like, I think I see FI. And that confused me for the longest time.
Yeah. So personality hacker, they say that your dominant function and your inferior function, they're unconscious. So we're not aware of their presence, whereas the second and the third, sometimes you can see it more. Sometimes we like head pats with our tertiary function too. So it's like, I want to get the TE over with, get it done, get that head pat, and then yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me at work. I'm just like, please tell me that I'm good at TE so that I can pretend that I'm good at TE. Thank you. Like, I really want the praise for it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is really annoying me. But I like being good at it. Those rare times.
That's exactly how I would describe my TI.
For context, Jonathan's an INFJ.
Nice. Oh, 2 INFJs. Wait, I knew that. I forgot it though. I deleted it. I don't have a memory. Where a memory should be is just like a little dancing monkey with symbols. It's very annoying.
That is an image.
Literally what my memory bank is, and I'm like, thank you, brain.
At least it's dancing. You know, at least it's entertaining. So only things that are relevant, that are as novel and interesting as a dancing monkey will retain in the memory. Like other things are not worth it to remember.
Yeah. Things that I need to remember, my brain's like, delete. We don't need that piece of information ever again. And I'm like, we do. We needed that.
Yeah. It's like ENFPs are motivated when things are interesting. So even when it comes to cleaning their room, it's like, how do I make this interesting so that I can do it?
I've like hacked my house is always really tidy, but it's a hack. I realized that one of my like FI values is to just like have everything pretty because it's an extension of like me and an expression of me. So I was like, you have to keep it clean so that it's pretty. So I hacked it. That one threw me off for a while because I was like, but I'm tidy. ENFPs can't be tidy. That's not a thing.
There are tidy ENFPs, yeah. It's usually within their values. I find the type that's usually the dirtiest.
Is it ENTP?
Yeah.
We all knew he was going to say.
The ENTPs in the room, please raise their hands.
Yeah, because they don't necessarily have that FI value to like keep it clean, and
yeah,
they're basically living in their head, and like our body is just a meat suit. This world is just a meat suit.
Yeah, so I don't need to look after anything. I don't even think they realize. I had a coworker that was like, I think an ENTP, and I was like, oh my God, like you don't even exist in this world. You don't even know anything exists.
It's all a concept.
Mm, yeah.
I think the FI can there is some prioritization over aesthetics, which I find like with FI users, if they cut their hair or if they change their clothes for quite a period of time, it sometimes is a mood shift or like a change
Um,
in a season of life. So like they're dressing more emo, it's saying something about them. That aesthetic helps them with cleaning their room, but it also helps them like you can tell where an ENFP is at by how they're dressing at times.
yeah, it's almost like you're trying to have like congruency between like the inside and the outside. So you're just like, I can't wear something that doesn't reflect how I'm inside because then it's like I'm lying to people. Does that make sense? It's weird. Where it's like, and so I always say, I'm like, if you want to know if I'm like depressed, if I haven't like done all of this, that's how you know. Send help.
You're in a good mood today, then I'm guessing.
Yeah, today's a good day.
Yeah. I feel like ENFPs are both this mix of wild optimism and also they can be incredibly emo as well too.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
the NE and the FI trading places at times.
Yeah, yeah, very that. It's either like just like optimism where you're like, that's not realistic, or it's just like absolute pessimism in the world. But both at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Luna, do you have any questions about your type or?
Not really. I'm glad like I thought that was the case, so I'm glad to know that it was obvious. And I also think like I've like looked into Daria's stuff quite a bit and I was like, I think I must be creative or harmonizing. Like that
Yeah.
was like my inkling. And so because I was like, shouldn't I be very obvious then? But then I was like, why can't I figure this out? Like why is this so difficult?
Mm.
Um, I'm glad it was just me.
Yeah.
Just seeing like too many just I was like seeing all the ways in which I could be anything and I was like just getting completely caught up in that.
Mm. My preliminary guess would be creative first and then probably harmonizing second.
Yeah.
And usually people go into harmonizing later in life, or if they're deep meditators or someone who has like a very intense grounding rituals that they do in their life. And so maybe when you're 50 or 60, harmonizing might set in even more.
Yeah.
Whereas creative, it seems like you're quite an initiator, you get things done, you have a lot of energy. You describe yourself like a ping pong machine. And so that has a lot of creative energy associated.
Yeah, I think so too. I think and I like if I look at me when I was like a child and when I was younger, it was like definitely creative. I was just like a mess. Just like no anchoring. If you had to anchor me, it was like a little girl floating up into just grab the ankle, just yank her down to earth so that she doesn't just like float into outer space. Um, but like I think as I'm older, I'm just like, okay, like like a little bit more settled and a little bit more, yeah.
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 All right. Well, it was a pleasure talking with you, Luna. You have like an
Okay.
energy to you. Like you're like a bright light. Like when I picture the sun, I think of Luna. Like oh,
Oh,
which is kind of ironic
no.
because
I know.
your name means
Be the
moon.
moon. Do I need to change my entire identity now? Am I suddenly sun? Oh no.
Perhaps you're the solar eclipse. You're both the sun and the moon at the same time.
Well, the one
Mm,
the moon always shines because the sun reflects off or reflects the
Mm.
sun.
exactly. Oh, I love it. Think that was so nice. I'm just gonna cry about it a little bit later. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, you're so lovely. I feel like there's a jump to my step or a hop to my step after talking to you. I don't know.
Oh,
It kind of makes me want to whistle and like kind of like I don't know, do a little like dance.
I love that. I'm just gonna picture you doing that now, just in my brain, and it'll just like pep me up, and I'll be like, Joyce dancing in my brain. See, that'll occupy a bit of my brain. I won't remember to do anything else, but I'll have just Joyce's like dancing in my brain every so often. That's great.
Everyone needs that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so this was lovely. I'm also wondering if you would ever be open, you can always say no, that like this is a great typing session. So I was like wondering if you would ever be open to like I sometimes post them on my channel. I haven't been
Oh
at
yeah.
all. Like you're so charismatic and warm and friendly, and I think like you're such a lovable personality that I'm like, man, I'd be doing the world a service by showing them just Luna's energy as a human being. So
Oh, it's so nice. Part of me is like, I hope being perceived. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, that would be lovely. I actually know somebody who had theirs posted a while ago, and I loved theirs. So I think I'd be open to it.
yeah, sounds good. All right. So thanks so much. Feel free to send me if you are open to it, like a photo of you that you like, and then
Like,
I'll use it as the thumbnail. Yeah.
okay. Oh no, that's a big decision to make. I can do this. I believe in me.
You're not gonna narrow down. You're like, I can't pick one. You can send me
Oh my
multiple
God.
too, and I can have
Like a
I can have
collage.
many of you in the thumbnail, like one of you on the side and the other one.
This is Luna gardening. This is Luna. Just like all the different Lunas doing different things. That'd be so.
It'd be multiverse Luna. It's perfect to celebrate any, you know.
I'm sorry. Did you say that you know someone who's been on Joyce's show or channel?
Yes, Camilla, ESFP. She's wonderful.
No. How do you know
Yeah.
her?
Through the internet. That's the only
Oh.
way I know anybody.
Oh, she's the acting coach.
Yes, she's so talented and so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Small world. Wow.
Very small world, yeah.
It makes sense that a creative subtype ENFP would be in touch with an acting coach. I mean, it just kind of fits, you know.
She's into fashion. I'm into fashion. It makes sense
Mm,
when worlds collide.
exactly. Another Pichu on sugar meets another Pichu on sugar. It's match made in
Very
heaven.
that. Yeah, she's more put together Pichu than me though. She's like, what's the evolution of Pikachu? Raichu?
Raichu?
Right.
Yeah,
True.
she's Raichu. I'm Pichu. Yeah, she's Raichu because she's like, I'm aspiring to be her.
Beautiful. All right. So thanks so much, Luna, for coming out today. It was a pleasure.
It was lovely to meet you both. Have the best day.
Yeah, we'll see you around. Take care.
Bye.